A croak, a ripple in the dusk, too sharp, too near, too real, disturbs the hush, not loud but wrong, a scratch beneath the veil. It cleaves the air, not just in tone, but what it dares to steal, the mask of calm, as systems stir, their hidden gears do wheel. No call, no call, no call again. The pond forgets its song, its mirrored skin refrains from pulse, from rhythms right and wrong. Without that chant, the world unweaves, what once was sense feels stone, and self-dissolves, untuned, unheard, unheld, untraced, alone. One note is not the start of time, it leaps beyond its place. The frog intones, and meaning shatters, birthing life from grace. Its sound precedes the world we name, cause echoing effect, where being folds and futures split and truth is indirect. A word misheard. The cadence cracks. No meter holds the flood. Each line unbinds, each phrase dissolves, syntax turns to mud. Then moments lose their order, dawn arrives before the night, and meaning, once a tethered thing, now slips into the blight. The frog returns, not metaphor but pivot, mouth of flame. Its croak aligns the hidden chords. My voice, the voice unnamed. Through it, I speak, but not alone. The bullfrogs sing the tones, and thus we weave the sacred script from damp and musty bones. Today we dive into the pond, not idly, not to dream, but to observe a logic move through pulses, limbs, and gleam. The frog, you see, does not just grow, it thinks itself in form, each stage a shape of mind and flesh, each leap a weathered norm. This life begins not as a line, but as a triangle spun, where what a frog is, what it does, and where it is, are one. Its cells, its world, its way to feed, to flee, to stretch, to stay. These braid a brief equilibrium that time will wear away. We'll speak in pairs of states, one stable, one undone. The balance holds, then pressures mount, and what was whole must run. This is no fall, it's nature's tilt, its needed broken hinge, where function meets its outer edge and finds new form to binge. What some have called a grand design we name performed intent. The tadpole thrashes not by fate, but by a force unbent. It acts its way to legs and lungs. It does, then is, anew. Its doing draws its being forth, its leaping proves it true. So come and trace this arc with us, not myth but patterned mind. Each egg, each breath, each croak is shaped by what it leaves behind. The life we map is real and whole, and every phase a sign that what survives is what coheres through change, through act, through time. Beneath the lily's patient shade, a sphere of silent grace, it rests. A world not yet begun, a form without a face. No twitch, no pulse, no hunger yet, just structure held in trust. Its being floats in coexistence, waterborne and hushed. Its shell is firm, its core intact. No call, no claim, no cry. The world surrounds it gently so, yet nothing seeks reply. Biology is sealed and still, the purpose sleeps inside, a promise curled in molecules where time and will abide. This peace persists indefinite while silence rules the pond. No motion stirs, no clock begins, no thread pulls life along. The egg alone does not progress. Its state is not its choice. It waits for something not itself to wake its hidden voice. Then comes the spark, the foreign strand, the tale of comet's light. A fusion, brief and violent, disturbs the egg's old night. The balance breaks, the inside flares. Calcium floods the scene, and what was once just poised potential shifts to something keen. The shell reforms, the cortex shifts. The proteins start to race. What once was calm begins to strive. Each part seeks its new place. It's not yet life that we can see, but something fierce is born, a purpose rising through the cell to cleave, to grow, transform. This tension spreads. Now need emerges, oxygen and space. And though the water stays the same, it must adapt its grace. The egg, once held by outside care, now pushes from within. Its future pulses in its walls, impatient to begin. And when the tide of inner change climbs high enough to crest, division starts. The single self becomes a plural quest. Through symmetry and sudden splits, the stable state is gone, and thus the egg, now truly life, begins its rising dawn. The blastula begins, a hollow sphere of life in bloom, no larger than the fertilized egg, yet pulsing in its womb. Cleavage cuts it cell by cell, divisions tight and clean, as blastomeres stack side by side in sync, precise, unseen. No tissues form, no organs yet, just multiplicity, a unity of likeness held in pale transparency. No growth in size, but growth in self, as cytoplasm divides, and what was one becomes a field of replicated guides. The embryo consumes no food. Its mother fed it first with yolk and mRNA stored deep to quench its early thirst. These deposits fuel the work, the splitting, swift and blind, while water, warmth and oxygen keep balance close behind. But even as the cells repeat, the order starts to show. The poles diverge, the cortex shifts, the future starts to grow. The animal and vegetal sides begin to shape a frame, and purpose takes on gravity, no longer just a name. So biology reshapes its stage, the environment aligns, and what the cells prepare to do, the outer world refines. This loop is tight, self-feeding now. Each part supports the rest, reinforcing with every turn the embryo's quiet quest. Yet too much echo dulls the edge. Too many mirrored parts, too uniform to take a role, too equal to impart. The blastomera still multiply, but structure lags behind, and function needs distinction now, or else it will unwind. The cues grow faint, the system strains, the signals cross and blur, and purpose, once a beacon clear, becomes a kind of slur. The blastula, so perfect once, now teeters in its spin, too full to feed, too set to shift, too soft to turn within. This is the trap of feedback loops. Success becomes a cage, where thriving turns to stasis, and growth declines with age. But from this stall, a rupture comes. A deeper shift is cast. Gastrulation pulls it through, to shape the self at last. Now comes the fold, the inward pull. The blastula must bend. Gastrulation starts the tail the egg was meant to send. Cells dive and twist. They stretch and slide, their paths no longer free. They choose their fate by where they go, not what they used to be. No more mere growth, no echoed splits, now bodies must take shape. The germ layers arise as form, endoderm, mesoderm, cape of ectoderm that cloaks them all. Each lineage now in place, each motion maps a future spine, a gut, a lung, a face. The blastocole is sacrificed, collapsed by arching lines as archenteron deepens down and inner space refines. The embryo reshapes itself from swirl to scaffolded frame, and movement births environment. The world is what became. These structures press their context back. The matrix now has teeth. Adhesion shifts, and gradients speak in signals cast beneath. The cells respond with destiny. Their genes begin to wake, as where they are defines their task, and what they must remake. So purpose rises in the folds, in axes drawn from strain, and in that aim, the cells commit to shape, divide, remain. The triad locks. Biology compels a world that guides the plan, and purpose seals the forward arc. The body now began. But motion breeds precision now. There's little room to stray. The causal path, so fine and sharp, permits no slight delay. A fold misplaced, a signal dim, a push that skews too far. And what was forward motion halts to question what we are. This is not failure, not collapse. It is the body's breath. It holds before committing more, a check against its death. The cells that leaned into a fate may soften, pause, return, and pluripotent silence waits where once the fates would burn. The embryo draws in its thread, reconsiders pace and place. It tests the meaning of its shape, the pressure in its space. Behavior slows, not gone but dimmed. Its vectors lose their flair, as structure loops upon itself to make its thinking square. This is reversion, not retreat, but tuning in the round, where cause becomes condition and the frame is turned to sound. The triad breathes before it builds, it leans before it leaps. And in this buffering delay, its deeper logic keeps. When balance clears and signals firm, the motion will return, not as it was, but branching out from everything it learned. And from that inner hold and turn, the embryo prepares to step beyond the line it drew and form in layered pairs. The neurula begins not with command, but with a woven start. The neural plate folds inward first, while others play their part. Somites form. The notochord aligns beneath the rising seam. Each structure starts before its whole and joins before it's seen. No longer stacked in tidy rows, the systems now arise like constellations dawning in a sky without a size. The neural tube is not delayed until the gut is done. They shape each other side by side, not waiting on the one. This co-emergence threads the form in nested moving frames. Each part supports another's shape, without assuming names. It's not a plan in sequence cast, but layers intertwine. The body finds its symmetry by crossing out the line. Now, function hums before it acts. The circuits spark in place, not driving limbs, but mapping them for future time and space. The brain begins its quiet work, not knowing how to wait, and so the body shapes itself to match what it creates. The egg's own walls respond in kind. Its membranes stretch and thin, as tissues carve new cavities and gather organs in. Environment is not just world, but gesture held in pause. It bends to meet the body's need, not answer nature's laws. But here, the harmony reveals a tension at its core. The nervous system calls for use, but cannot yet explore. The embryo begins to twitch, to pulse without a goal, as readiness demands a path, but finds no self to hold. These motions are not madness. They are prophecy, half-spoken. The body's not yet born, and still its circuits start to open. And in that breach, the system folds. The pressures rise within, as if the world had turned too slow for where the nerves begin. The egg becomes a cage. What once was calm is now too tight. The oxygen declines. The walls compress against the light. No longer can the outer world adjust to what's inside. The embryo, too soon aware, has nowhere left to hide. This is the cost of non-linear grace, that nothing can be late, and what arrives before its time may still determine fate. The body acts before it's whole, the nerves before command, and so the triad tips, undone by what it sought to stand. Yet all this strain prepares release, the one it cannot fake, a break, a push, a tear, a twitch. The membrane soon must break, and when it does, the world expands, the water floods the mind. The tadpole swims, a body freed by leaving walls behind. The shell is torn, it slips the thread, the tadpole darts and dives, a shimmered stitch in weedy light, where breath and hunger thrive. No longer curled in dreamless coil, it moves with purpose, clear to swim, to feed, to stretch its frame through water wide and near. Its gills flare out, the tail whips strong. Its mouth begins to scrape along the algae-blotted stone in greedy arcs of shape. Its gut uncoils, its senses scan, each flick a silent claim. The body meets the world at last and learns to play the game. This is no trial for later days. It is the life it makes. Each motion carves the self anew, each pause, each turn, each wake. Its form is tuned to green and flow, to drift and light and shade, and every act it undertakes completes the choice it made. Environment no longer waits. It presses, yields, contends. The pond is both the stage and test. It shifts, it hides, it bends. The tadpole's world is full of rules it learns by swimming through. And purpose isn't what they dream, but simply what they do. For now, it thrives. The triad spins, each part a wheel in sync. Biology extends through act, and purpose finds the brink. The world returns what motion sends, and form refines with feed. The tadpole lives by doing life, by meeting want with speed. But motion makes a growing strain. The system starts to split. Its lungs begin in secret hush, while gills still do their bit. The tail still drives it through the dark, but legs begin to bud. And every step toward what comes next now thickens into mud. The gut prepares for meat, not green, though algae lines its track. Its purpose chokes on double needs to change, yet not fall back. What once was whole is now misfit. The form that swims must crawl, yet neither world is fully served and both begin to stall. This is the bottleneck, the pinch where growth can't stretch or yield, where every system pulls apart the self it once had sealed. The pond no longer fully holds. The breath grows short and thin. The tadpole hangs between two worlds, too broad to just begin. But this compression is not end. It is the tightening knot that pulls the limbs into the frame and forces lungs to plot. The answer will not come in parts, but in a hybrid blend, where all must shift together now, or none will reach the bend. Now limbs emerge from hidden codes, and lungs begin to swell, yet water still enfolds the form. It swims, but not as well. The tail still drives, the gills still breathe, yet something strains for air. The metamorph hugs the surface now, unsure of what is there. The pond remains its constant world, but layers start to split. The depths are dark, the surface thins, and breathing doesn't fit. It rises up, then sinks again, the rhythm cracked in two. Each gesture tests a different self the body's breaking through. The hind legs push against the flow, not quite a leap, a twitch. The muscles shift in halves and turns, the balance feels like glitch. The lungs sip air in awkward bursts while gills still draw below. No single system rules the form, yet all begin to show. And so begins the conjoined stage, where structure must respond to forces from the outer world and surges from beyond. The body bends, the purpose strains, the water pulls, then yields. Each motion threads through partial change, each breath through shifting fields. Behavior splits, A surface glance, a dart, a pause, a climb. The tadpole flicks, then folds its limbs as if it misjudged time. It does not try to change its way. The world requires it now. And life demands that every move be reconfigured how. Yet even in this shifting grace, a danger threads the seam. The parts may not all move as one, despite the conjoined dream. A leg may grow before it moves, a breath may come too soon. And misaligned, the systems press dissonance into tune. The currents rise, the predators prowl, the lungs half-signal air. But awkwardness becomes a trap, not just a state of care. Too fast, too slow, too out of sync. Each axis pulls alone, and what was once a living mesh now trembles in its tone. This is the strain of misfit clocks, each ticking its own need. A breath not backed by buoyancy, a step the nerves can't lead. And though the limbs now reach to land, they falter in the trial. The world no longer waits for form, it tests each step's denial. But strain is not collapse. It marks the edge where systems learn to tune their fragments into song, to fall and yet return. And from this test, a harmony begins to hum and rise. Not in retreat, but in resolve. The youngster starts to climb. Now elder in its passage, formed in air and held in wave, the metamorph begins to shift the life the water gave. Its forelimbs brace, its lungs expand, the tail draws back in slow. Each breath, each beat, a careful pact where old and future flow. The skin grows thick to meet dry winds, the gut reshapes to meet. The body that once filtered silt now longs for moving feet. Yet in the pond it still remains, half creature of the shore. It breathes above, it dives below, it hovers at the door. This is no rest, no idle stage. It is the tuning phase, where biology and purpose fuse in tightly timed relays. Each change must wait upon the next. Each system checks the rest. The lungs, the limbs, the brain, the skin all learn to coalesce. It breathes because the water fails. It swims though legs protrude. It tests the stones along the edge, unsure but still imbued. The world no longer holds as one, each element diverged. But here they strive for unity, where once they simply surged. Triads cross in nested steps. No one part leads alone. The breath requires the limb's new stance. The climb needs lung and bone. The purpose shifts from change itself to total timed accord, to bring the body into line and shape the self restored. But balance born of such tight braid can fray with just one slip. A tail too slow, a limb too soon, a breath that cannot grip. The harmony, once scaffold strong, now shakes beneath delay, as each delay begins to tilt the rest out of the way. The lungs may rise while tail still drags, the limbs may brace too fast, and what was once a mesh of change becomes a clash of past. Behavior asks too much too soon, or acts in ways too split. To climb, to swim, to hide, to leap, yet not yet built for it. The pond becomes a battlefield of contradicting needs, as land and water pull apart the roles each movement feeds, and purpose, once the guiding thread, now tangles in the seam. It does not know which world it serves, or what the moment means. This is the price of harmony. It works until it tears. No system can be stretched too long across opposing airs. The metamorph must leave the chord. It cannot hold the tune. Its song must break to find its shape beneath another moon. Now risen from the shifting depths, the froglet greets the stone. Its limbs are sure, its breath is clean, its form is near its own. The tail, a shadow trailing still, dissolves with each new climb, and what was once a swimming thought now moves in metered time. The skin holds moisture, takes the light, adjusts to open air. The lungs expand with rhythm now, no longer gasping there. It crouches on the mossy rim, not lava, not yet grown, but every gesture starts to speak the language of its bone. It leaps, it slips, it climbs, it waits. Each act a living test, not of survival merely, but of how to be expressed. Behavior takes the helm at last, not drifting, but in play. It shapes the world, then feels it shape the choices of the day. The land is full of lessons now, of texture, heat, and threat. It moves through shade and sudden light, through puddle, weed, and net. Each stone it tests, each leaf it hides beneath or climbs atop, affirms the body's readiness or marks the need to stop. Here triads pull toward the real, the act, the frame, the ground, where jumping must meet strength and strength must meet the place it's found. No piece can lead without the rest. Each leap affirms the thread, that what is done becomes the proof of what has grown and bled. But sharp within this living braid, a subtle stress may split. The limb may lunge too far, too soon, and fail the grasp it lit, or weather may betray the form, a drought, a sudden chill, and behavior, once aligned, becomes a fractured will. It hops as though it's ready, yet its legs are not yet steel. It calls as if it owns the dusk, but silence marks the field. Or worse, it waits, too cautious now, unsure to risk or roam, and in that pause the world recedes and leaves it half at home. This is division, not defeat, but separation's flame where action must complete the self, or else retreat to name. Two parts may hold in symmetry but not enough to live. The third must act, must close the arc, must know what life can give. But this dividing is a forge, the edge of what must be. It tests the shape of future strength, not breaks the will to see. The froglet does not fail, it learns the path it must ignite, and readies what it needs to leap into the adult night. Now full in form, the frog returns, not to the past, but place. Its limbs are firm, its lungs hold song, its body bears its face. The tail is gone, the ground is known, the water waits in thread. It lives between the dusk and stone, where future steps are spread. The muscles flex with purpose now, the breath aligns with song, and every motion speaks intent. It's known this world so long. Its skin draws moisture from the dark, its eyes scan night for sound. It does not seek to grow again, but move where life is found. The world is not a proving ground, it is a patterned ring. Each leaf, each pool, each mating call a pulse of season's swing. And in that rhythm, frog becomes the echo it must give, to find, to fight, to sing, to seed, the reason it must live. For now the urge is not to change, but to combine, to pair, to let its body be the site where futures split the air. Its voice a call, its limbs a grip, its will a seasonal spark. It acts to bind the triad whole beneath the reed and dark. Biology and place align, a night of rain, a pool, but without the song, no form is made, no tadpole shapes the rule. Or if it sings and land is kind, but body holds no fire, then silence waits beneath the notes and ends the embryo's choir. And even when the body's prime and voice and space are met, if drought or shift or toxins rise, the cycle stalls in debt. No triad holds on just two threads, no life remakes alone. It takes the world, the self, the act to bring the future home. So sings the frog, not as a child, but as the map of strain that led from egg through tail and twist to crouch in moss and rain. It leaps not forward but across, a bridge of call and seed, to start again the hidden song its own first croak once freed.